Welcome back to the Big Guy Garage. I am the Big Guy. We are currently still working on the Studebaker. I believe I have it set now to the point as close as I can get it. But between 6 foot and 10 body panels, we're a 1/4 inch. That's as good as I'm going to get it. There's plenty of adjustment to adjust it out. So, it's Monday, start of the new week. I'm going to procrastinate about what I'm going to get done again because now it's at the point where you never know. But today I am going to weld the bracket on this front end, get this front end hard mounted. And from that point we can start working on wiring and the rear frame and getting that stuff done. Thank God. I am not far from done on this, believe it or not. I have to wire headlights, turn signals, tail lights when I get the bed on, weld the bed on, and from that point it's wiring, gauges, heat and air. Done. I mean, it's going to be a lot of little things that you're really not going to see a lot of because I'm not going to bore you with sitting there playing with a bundle of wires. It's no fun. But again, happy Monday. Which nobody's happy on Monday. I'm going to get started, or shall I say I'm going to continue. I've been going. And let's get this front end mounted, be done with that, and start working our way backwards. There's trans lines, heater lines, what else is there? Some wiring I got to clean up under or inside the cab, and on the firewall, because there's plugs that got to be plugged in and moved around to where it don't look like a rat's nest when you open the hood. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. Some grounds. It'll be alright. But, let's get busy. Alright, so as I was just saying, the difference is a 1/4 inch now. And what do I mean by that? I mean, from the wheel edge, hard surface, to the top of the bottom of the inside of the fender there is a 1/4 inch difference from this side to that side. Now this side is literally up as high as I can get it. This side can go down, but in order to get it to go down, I basically have to lay on it. Because it's just like, you know, all the different pieces. But I think it's plenty good enough to where I can hard mount it, have it welded, and then, you know, you can adjust fenders and stuff to get it to line up even better if you need it to. Judging by the wheel gaps, you know, the fenders are crazy being fiberglass. To me, it looks like that back of that fender's like way out here. And then you come to this side, and it's like real close. I think I might have to push the front end this way a little bit. I don't think that's going to help the fender gap. I think it's just going to help the wheel gap. But other than that, which it's not even that far off, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to push it over that way, see what it does. Hopefully it don't. Well, you know what, it can't, because the hood won't shut if I push it over. The hood's straight down and that's it. So I might be able to actually loosen up the cab bolts and sort of twist the whole front end that way. But that's a can of worms. So we'll see what I can do. But we'll go with that for now. Before I hard mount it, I'll try to work it that way a little bit. Anywho, let's get busy. Alright, so I have the front end set, left and right. I have a piece of angle iron that goes all the way across the front. Why are my lights flickering all of a sudden? But it's basically ready to weld. And that's what I'm getting ready to do, as you can see. It actually slipped up on one side to where it goes right in front of the frame. Like, I mean, perfectly, but the other side's a little long. It's not to where I can cut it. You know, there's no room. So I had to notch the angle iron, and I'll have to weld it. It's going to be a bigger gap, but I'll weld it up. Actually, I threw a piece down there to use as a shim, and it'll help me weld it too. But everything's good from tire to wheel well. Same on both sides. I've got this side a little bit higher right now, but it's about a 1/4 inch. That's the best I could get it. I actually unbolted the cab and used a ratchet strap and pulled the entire cab this way to fit them gaps better. It's real tough to adjust these on gravel. And I'll be honest with you, a moment ago I was like, oh man, maybe I should just pour a slab. 8 foot wide, 5 foot, 5 by 8, 4 inches thick. Shouldn't be too bad, right? Nope. Concrete has went up to $10 a bag, and it takes 28 bags. Yeah, $300 right there. I was like, gosh almighty. So I said, yeah, we'll worry about that later. Let's get this one done, and if somebody wants another one, I'll start figuring it out from there. Which I got to build my own, but that's another story. I can do that up at the other garage. It has concrete, but there's a power issue. So, anywho, let's weld this, get that done, and I can start working on the rest of the truck. Alright, so here's what's up. Today, I come out here, now that the front end's welded and solid, I said, well, let's start working on the back frame. So I'm going to measure it out, cut it, move the other one in, cut it, get everything where we need to be. But I did a smart thing. On this bed, there's a line. Hold on one second here. There's a line right here, which is a paint run. And we thought that was center. That is not. This is center. I made this mark. Measured between the bolt holes here and there. Put it there. Now, here's the thing though. I do know that on some of these, your back section of your fender is actually wider than your front section. So technically the wheel could still be up here. So I'm going to do the smart thing. I'm going to push the truck out. I'm going to put the bed on and then see where it's at. Because if I don't, we'll end up with something even more screwed up. It's a good thing I checked that ahead of time. It's real hard to get measurements on this truck because the back of that cab is not flat by any means. So I'm having a hard time with that. So over here from cab to these mounts says 1/4 inch from side to side. From cab to the axle says 1 inch difference. So it's an impossible thing to get a measurement on. So the only way to do it, get this freaking cab, or get this bed on and check and see what it's like. Alright, I got the bed in the shop, sitting on there, trying to get what I need to get, my measurements. But as you can see, it's sitting on the frame, so I can't really get it down. Not to mention there's a bed floor in it that's getting ready to get cut out. Man, it looks crazy on my camera. It looks all like... But anyway, I'm going to start cutting out the bed floor. It's going to be hours probably cutting this thing out. My plasma's not back yet. They've had it for about 5 or 6 days now. Hopefully it gets back soon. But I'm leaving meat, as you can tell by my black marks, more in the front and the rear than on the sides. And cut it all out. Get the wheel spacers on, get this thing down, and I can see how much more I need to extend the frame. So that's the dealio there. Other than that, there's nothing else I can do. Well, I can do wiring. I don't want to do wiring. But for now, I'm going to take a break. It's a little chilly. Not from the fan, from it being cold outside. And after I cut the bed floor out, I'm going to gut most of the dash out of here. Oh, I also need to see if he wants to keep that hood vent thing, or if I can cut it out. all the mechanism. E-brake's going to be gone. Then I got to figure out how to get these gauges in here too. That's going to be fun. But that's where we're at for today. I'm going to, as I said, take a break, warm up, come back out. Probably run and get a $17 Sawzall blade because they're amazing. And cut this floor out with it. Grinder first, of course, but that's where we're at. So, funny thing, I was just told by one of my followers on TikTok, one of us, that I actually have these fenders on backwards. And I thought he was messing with me. I'm dead serious. I thought he's like, he's messing with me. There ain't no way those are on backwards. Sure enough, I looked up the 47 Studebaker. Yeah, these are on backwards. So, I'm gonna have to flip them. So that wheel gap is gonna get even, further forward then, because it's well, actually, it might get even further back. We're gonna see. But that's what I'm gonna do real quick is flip them, see how it looks then, and figure it out from there. Nearly 2 hours of cutting later, the bed floor's cut out. That was a fight. You can see there was square tubing here that was 2x3. You can see them big bars over there, and then 1x1 in the center. It was a fight. Good thing is they didn't do like I would have did and went down all of the pipes or square tubing and welded. Instead, they used some kind of adhesive, as you can see while the bed kicks backwards, for the bed floor. So literally I cut the bed floor, popped it off, took it out. Now we're left with this. You can see how much the wheels actually sit on the bed. So the spacers are on their way. We're going to be running 3s just like the front. And if it won't fit after that, I'm going to have to tub it or something. But as of now, that's as much as I can do on this section. I will need to cut these ears off of these when I level it side to side to make it sit, because right now it's like it's gonna go that way to the right like that, and you can see over there it's got just a little bit of ear left holding it. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. You got to get this way and then up and down and all that crap. But that's where that's at for today. I'm burning up, even though I don't even have any heat on. That was a lot of cutting with Sawzall cutoff wheel. So let's move on. Okay, so I pulled the bed back off, put it back outside, and what I've done is I've pulled all the wiring forward. I've pulled all the lines loose and up. Gotta pull this brake line. Got to unbolt the drive shaft and pull this exhaust, and then I'll be ready to start making my marks to cut. What I'm gonna do is probably cut real close to this, like dead on it basically. I might cut it with a Sawzall first to where I can get everything out of the way and then mark it straight and cut it, because it's a real tough spot to get into with the bracket and everything with the cutoff wheel. So again, cut it as straight as possible with the Sawzall, and then cut it even better with cut-off wheel. I would use my plasma, but again, it's gone. It's out for repair. Haven't heard nothing back yet. I will have to get these two loose, but they're just rubber hoses. One of them literally goes right there. That's your evap and stuff. And when we get all that stuff off and cut and slide it out, we'll bring the other one in. We'll jack this up, pull these tires. When I get it off, I'll have to get my jack stands and put them around here strategically so it don't and destroy. But yeah, that's where we're at here. I know everybody's like, just move the fenders forward or cut the bed. You can't. And the reason being, because if you cut the bed, it moves your fenders forward, or moving your fenders forward, your step rails won't fit. Unfortunately, if they were metal, I could make it happen, but they're fiberglass. So what they are is what they are. Other than that, I am going to get busy on this. There's really nothing to show here. It is literally unbolting stuff. So I'll cut it back on before I cut, and then get you some B-roll of me cutting it, moving everything out and everything like that. But for now, it's just literal basic work. Alright, so now the bed's off, everything's loose. I had to cut the brake line because it was just trying to twist. All the lines are pulled loose. The exhaust is loose. The drive shaft's out. And basically now I gotta go up the hill to side B here and get my jack stands and put two back here and two in the front. Make sure it don't fall forward. And cut. That's about the only thing next, is just to cut it. All the wiring's out too. But this is the spooky part. I'm trying to get it somewhere where I can find exactly how far it needs to be cut on the other one, and there's really no place I can find that shows me. But if this hole stays the same, I can probably pull the tape from there to the center axle and add 4 inches, because that's where I'm going to cut, is right here, and that hole should stay where it needs to be. Let's go check the other side. Does it have that hole? Does it look like it's in the same spot? Yes, it has that hole, and it looks like it's in the same spot. So that'll be our pull point, and then add 4 inches. Alright, for the part I'm not looking forward to, I am getting ready to cut this frame. Yeah, not at all looking forward to this. I've got it forward on the mark to where it's not exactly where I need it. So I'm giving myself a little bit more to cut after I get it off, and then the one outside I'll cut, about right. So 4 inches we gotta add to this. So not add, the other frame will be 4 inches. So let's cut this first. Alright, so as you saw, yeah, it's a extended frame now. Yeah, don't worry about how not straight them cuts are, because all that was in the way. So I marked them back further, and I'm going to redraw a straight line with a speed square. and then take my time with the cutoff wheel and cut them slow and straight. Same way with the one outside. I know the point I'm pulling from now, so which is this hole right here. And it's going to be the same on the other frame. I'll add 4 inches from the edge of that hole back on both sides. And we'll have our frame 4 inches longer. Plain and simple, pretty easy. I measured from the hole to the center of the axle. So I make for sure, you know, the axle's definitely straight. Them holes are actually perfectly straight with each other. But that frame is cut. Tomorrow I'll push this one out, jack it up, take the tires off, bring the tires in, push the other frame in, start working on cutting it where it needs to be and cutting these straight and starting to hot glue them with metal together. Well, today is a little bit on the sucky side. It's chilly out, but what I got to do today is these wheels got to come off. They got to go on the other frame. The other frame's got to come in. Got to get them wheels off, swap them, and then start cutting. Yeah, not cutting exactly, but like shaving this, completely cutting the other one. And I'd like to find a way, if I can, to sort of get the frame sitting on its own in the back half and put the bed on it. And then put the fenders on it and everything. Make sure I'm 100% where it lines up, how it looks good, and then move it to where it needs to be and mark it. This is just like a 100% way to make sure that no matter what, the frame is going to be lined up right. As far as actually, you know, putting it first, I think I could easily do it and have plenty of room, which now that I think about it, I might need about 4.5 inches, which is why I want to double check. But we can find the center line of the bed. No, we can't either, because the center line of the bed is not the center line of the wheel opening. I already marked the center of the wheel opening. So yeah, we can measure and sort of figure it out. But I definitely want to make it right before I cut both and start tack welding it. And then to go to put it on and it be like a 1/2 inch too close or something, you know. You don't want it touching here. You want it to have a gap. Then your wheel's got to be perfect. But I'm going to swap all this crap around, get busy. Alright, we're about to hit some pure suckage here. What sucks? Well, my plasma's not back still. And I have some thick metal to cut through. I will have to cut all of this back through here out, up to here. Then this on both sides. And then I still have to cut the frame right there. And cut these frames. Now, I wouldn't use my plasma to cut these straight because it don't cut that straight. It's plasma. They never do. Especially with my wiggly hand. But to cut through something like this and get it out of there, it would be nice. And I just don't have any other option but a cutoff wheel. So this is going to be hours of cutting, and I am not looking forward to. Not in the slightest. But I gotta get to it until my plasma does show up, which will probably be the second I get done cutting all this stuff. But I have nothing else I need to do right now. So it is way longer than it needs to be. As you can clearly see, it's probably like a foot longer, really. So, I need to schwack both of them. Cut those. I'm going to pull all the e-brake stuff off. Which I'm probably going to swap this rear end because I just found out this hub is shot toast. So, or not hub, but the brakes. The brakes are shot. Don't know how long it's been since these brakes have been used. So I'm just going to swap the other rear end. We know it works. It was good. Drove it. No problem. This one's a complete mystery. So swap it. Other than that, it's cutting time. So basically that's going to do it for this week. God, that fan is annoying. The frame is pretty much ready to be cut, but I do not want to cut it until I get the wheel spacers on and the bed sitting on, so I can really tell if that's the exact amount I need to cut it. Because the owner's already cost himself one frame, you know, because he thought it was long enough. I thought it was long enough, but it wasn't. So now we had to get another frame section, and I don't want to cost him another frame, because then he'll have to buy another vehicle. It would be stupid. So the best bet for me, and probably for him, is to wait for the spacers to come in, put the bed on, make the bed, you know, where it needs to be, make the bed, you know, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. Hopefully they'll be here next week sometime. I can get the bed in here somewhat. I can probably even jack up the rear end and sort of sit it somewhere to where it won't move, and I can put the bed on and leave the wheels off, but I don't want to do that. It's a lot easier to make sure your wheel gap is right if your wheels are on. But don't mind my Clark Kent hair. This is it for the week, and thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully next week we'll have spacers on, bed or frame cut, bed on, welded, and basically all the body stuff will be done. Then it's going to be just redoing brake lines, redoing fuel lines, redoing vacuum lines, swapping rear end, and interior wiring and gauges. But again, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Check out my TikTok. I do little shorts on there. I do shorts on here to get others interested to watching the bigger videos, you know. But hey, it's working. Thanks for watching.